Last week, we kicked off our all-new season on the biggest and baddest tour in Seattle, Washington. We watched as our reigning two-wheel skills champion Son of a Digger took the racing win and Predator finally got his freestyle win. Tonight, we debut the all-new Indy Madness tour in Cameron, Texas. Who will come out on top? This is the Rorsrps semi-realistic points series, and this is Monster Jam! Hello everybody and welcome back to the Rorsrps channel. My name is Preston Vieira and we are here in Cameron, Texas at the Cameron Motor Speedway, debuting the all-new Indy Madness Tour as well as some all-new trucks including the World Finals champion Megalodon Fire. On this tour, we'll be taking a look at some of the independently promoted venues in all of their car-crushing glory. But now let's jump in and get a look at our main field for our first racing bracket of the season in our search for our Dubby Racing Champion. First up for racing, we got Giovanna Hayes in Megalodon Fire taking on Corey Fisher in Blacksmith, the Team Scream race. Jim Koehler in Megabyte taking on Matthew Hood in Rage. Bobby Holman in Shadow the Hedgehog is going to face off against Colt Durham in Plain Krazy. Chuckie Pauken in Excaliber facing off against Darren Migues in Wolf's Head. Dawson Rayas in Shake Me will take on Jimmy Creten in Bounty Hunter to kick off his season. Chillin Villain George 20D10 is going to take on Amsoil Shock Therapy's Cole Pecka. Jack Merkle in Vorian Prime will face off against Eckert in Fullboar. And closing out round one, we got Kaylyn Migues in Jailbird taking on Dan Dahlgren in Iron Outlaw. And now for round one, and for the first time here in season 2, introducing your world racing champion Megalodon Fire and the driver Giovanna Hayes. Now of course, as I mentioned, the reigning world racing champion, she managed to get 15th in qualifying for World Finals, as well as a unfortunate performance in freestyle with a DNF, ending up with 0 freestyle points. Last season in season 1 though, they were able to get 1 racing win under her belt, as well as a double-digit point earning in 6 out of the 10 shows for season 1, giving her a total of 107 points by the end of the season, and the 5th qualifying spot in World Finals 1 on the Custom Chaos Tour. So we'll see how she does this season with an all-new tour, all-new driver, and that same beautiful truck. It looks awesome up there on top of those buses. We'll see how she can do here for her first race of the season. But speaking of her first race, we need a competitor, an opponent, and we got one with Blacksmith Corey Fisher debuting that awesome truck, highly requested throughout season 1, but of course when the season is on, we are not accepting requests for new trucks. So for season 2, we gave him a shot in the Spin Master qualifying event, and yeah, managed to do well. Yeah, he was our second qualifier for season 2 as far as, you know, trucks that have earned their spot through the season 2 qualifying events, and he's here to burn it down on the Indy Madness Tour. Corey Fisher, an awesome truck to get the season started with. We'll see how it treats him. Of course, this is the first time we're going to see that truck run at all for the typical season. So we'll see how a longer trial works for Corey Fisher. But off the line we go with this paperclip style racing. Of course, the Indy version of the paperclip style racing. Nicely done. Both trucks pretty close race so far. It looks like Giovanna Hayes may have a slight lead around the turn. Yes, a big lead for Giovanna Hayes in Megalodon Fire. On to round 2. Corey Fisher unable to get it done this time around. We'll see how that truck treats him for the upcoming shows. Hopefully we can get some racing points under his belt. We got a long way to go. I'm sure it'll happen for him. Jim Koehler coming out next in Megabyte. On your right, taking on Matthew Hood in Rage. As I mentioned, the Team Scream battle here in round 1. Now, here's an interesting thing. On the Custom Chaos Tour, we had 3 Team Scream trucks all season long, and once again, on the Indy Madness Tour this time, we got 3 Team Scream trucks. Of course, we got Megalodon Fire, Megabyte, and Rage. 2 of those trucks you're seeing debuted right here. Matthew Hood in that Rage truck. Last season we saw Rageaholic all season long. I thought it would be a bit more difficult to differentiate between Rageaholic and Rage as far as commentary goes, but I seem to be doing a good job. We're about to go green for your second race of round one. Here we go. Over the line for the first time, and they are neck and neck into this first turn. Nice, keeping a really tight race so far. Essentially the same truck here as far as setups go, but over the line for the first time, and it is Jim Koehler in Megabyte who gets there first. Matthew Hood, real close race, but definitively Jim Koehler in that Megabyte truck is moving on to round two tonight. Not a bad race, definitely a shot for Rage to move up the bracket in a, following show, but tonight not gonna happen. Colt Durham coming out next in Plain Crazy, taking on Bobby Holman in that Shadow the Hedgehog truck. Now Bobby Holman, a legend in the monster truck world. If you know monster truck history, you know a lot more than I do, and he seems to get a lot of love in the community, and I know he's gonna get some love here on the Indy Madness tour. Both of these trucks pulling up to the line to get staged for their race. Colt Durham in that Plain Crazy truck. Now he is the host, the owner, the operator of the ROR SCS tour, where they battle it out live on YouTube with all Werewolf No Beam breakable trucks. So be sure to check them out at ROR SCS on both Instagram and YouTube. But we are green and going racing here with Shadow the Hedgehog and Plain Crazy. Coming around that final turn, it is close. Oh, but it is Shadow the Hedgehog. Very close race, but I assure you we check these races very carefully, and definitely we get multiple opinions for who won, and Shadow the Hedgehog is the one to come out on top this time around. But next out on the track, it's Chuckie Pauken debuting for Season 2 in Excaliber. Now, Excaliber was a substitute in Season 1, debuted in Detroit, did pretty well, got up to the final round in racing. Just lost to Medusa, which when you hear Season 1 in Medusa, of course, he lost to Season 1, and he lost to Medusa in Season 1, but did well for a substitute. So now he's in the main field for the first time. We'll see how he does here on the Indy Madness Tour. Darren Migues in Wolf's Head on your left. Debuting, first time we're seeing this truck at all on the regular season. Managed to earn his spot in the Season 2 qualifying events. We'll see how he does here for his first race of Season 1, and we're going green. Into the first turn, super tight first turn. These trucks really got to sling those things around to bring it in for that turn. Around the final turn, though, it looks to be pretty close, but no! Chuckie Pauken with a good margin there knocks out Darren Migues in Wolf's Head. Chuckie looks like he's on the fast track to get back up into the final round once again. We'll see how he does here for the rest of the night. We're going to find his opponent for round 2 here in just a minute. Dawson Rayas in Shake Me coming out next, taking on Jimmy Creten and Bounty Hunter. Now Dawson Rayas is debuting that all-new 5-year anniversary of the Shake Me truck, 5 years of competition, and Dawson and the T-Ray guys are hyped and excited to burn it down all season long. We'll see how they can do by the end of the season. Hopefully they can get up into that top 6 and get a World Finals qualification. Now here's another driver you want to see in the top 6, Jimmy Creten and Bounty Hunter, and they're going green and going racing for round 1. A veteran on your left, taking on, a bit of a newcomer. Dawson Rayas, not in the game, definitely not as long. Of course, he's young, obviously. But over the line we go. It is Jimmy Creten and Bounty Hunter who gets there first. Dawson Rayas did make up a little bit of ground in the air there, but when it comes to who got to the line first, Jimmy Creten took that one, and he will be moving on to round 2. Unfortunate break for Dawson Rayas, but I mean, we got a long season ahead of us, a lot of races ahead of us as well. George 20v10 coming out next in Chillin Villain, taking on Cole Pecka in Amsoil Shock Therapy. Now Amsoil Shock Therapy desperately tried to get into Season 1, was unable to make it happen, didn't get chosen as a sub either. Now for Season 2, he got a couple attempts at the Spin Master Showdown qualifier, managed to earn his spot this time in the main field. So he has a long season ahead of him, of course, and we'll see how he does here in the first show of the season, taking on Chillin Villain, an awesome Hot Wheels custom, of course. Didn't run in real life, but had a run in the toys, in the Hot Wheels line. We got him here in Rigs of Rods, and George 2010 is the pilot. We'll see how he can do here in this first race of the season. As we come to the line, it is all Kole Pecka in Amsoil Shock Therapy. Chillin Villain not too far behind, but not enough this time around to take the win and knock out Kole Pecka in that Amsoil Shock Therapy truck. Heading into our next race of the night, Jack Merkle in Vorian Prime, taking on Eckert in Fullboar. Jack Merkle, heavily known in the Sim Monsters community, and more recently for his performance in the ROR SCS events. I was lucky enough to get to commentate over a couple of his shows. He was driving Gravedigger all season long, but this time around for ROR SRPS, we got him in his own truck, Vorian Prime, and we'll see how it treats him. Eckert on your left in that Fullboar truck. Who's going to come out on top? Going green and into this first turn. Looking good. Vorian Prime might be a little slow this time around. We'll see how this final turn treats him, because this is a bit wider of a turn. You have a lot more room for error there. Oh, and it is Vorian Prime. Jack Merkle coming back by the end there. Eckert put on a solid performance. It was close. Came down to the line for sure, but it is all Vorian Prime. Jack Merkle on to round 2. Now check this out. Kaylyn Migues in Jailbird, taking on Dan Dahlgren in Iron Outlaw. Last season, we saw essentially this setup from Iron Outlaw on Scarlet Bandit. She was able to take the freestyle win in both the first and second show of the Throwback Tour. But this time around, it's Dan Dahlgren in Iron Outlaw. We'll see how it treats him here for racing. Scarlet was able to make it up into the Season 1 World Finals. We do have a smaller qualifying window this time around. We'll see if Dan can do it in that Iron Outlaw truck. Jailbird as well. She was a Season 1 competitor all season long. We're going green here for Season 2 and her first race of the new season. Coming around that final turn, over the line we go. It is Kaylyn Migues moving on to round 2 as Dan Dahlgren goes for a ride, trying to keep that truck on all 4 BKTs. And Kaylyn Migues is airing that thing out to close out the first round. Oh my goodness, what an eventful end to that race. Now let's head back to they're going to head back to the pits. Let's take a look at our round 2 bracket. But before that, be sure to subscribe if you're enjoying tonight's show. We got new episodes every Saturday. We got 3 tours and a whole lot of fun. You can also find us on Instagram at RORSRPS with all kinds of extra content, early access to the week's racing brackets, pit party pictures, result recaps, and more. Of course, just general news about the channel and about videos. And you get to just chill with me, so that's pretty awesome. But let's check out our round 2 for racing here. Megalodon Fire is going to be taking on Megabyte. Shadow the Hedgehog will face off against Excaliber. Jimmy Creten and Bounty Hunter is going to take on Cole Pecka in Amsoil Shock Therapy. And Vorian Prime will face off against Jailbird. But jumping back into it for round 2, Giovanna Hayes in Megalodon Fire taking the track once again. She'll be taking on Jim Koehler in Megabyte. Now this is the first time these two are going to face off at all. In Season 1, Jim Koehler's Avenger was on the same tour as Rage and Megalodon Fire. So I mean, driver to truck, they've faced off. But Megabyte has never taken on Megalodon Fire. We'll see how he does here in the second round, taking on the World Finals 1 racing champion. We're off the line and heading into the first turn. Jim Koehler's in trouble. Over he goes. Now, they did shut him off there. He did end up going into Giovanna's lane just a little bit. Looks like they're going to give him the chance to complete a lap here. I don't know if that's going to count as a DNF or not. Giovanna Hayes does obviously grab the win here in round 2. She'll be moving on to the semifinals. Jim Koehler in Megabyte. curious. We'll have to check out the points at the end of the show here for racing to see how that worked out for him. But coming out next, we got Bobby Holman in Shadow the Hedgehog, taking on Chuckie Pauken in Excaliber. And this is going to be interesting for sure. Both of these guys had incredible races in round 1. We're going to see them face off here in round 2. And yeah, man, this is gonna be wild. As I mentioned already, the sub from season 1, Excaliber, did well in racing. He only got himself 1 show, unable to grab that second show. This time around, he's on the main field. He'll have as many chances as possible if he can just not be the points loser. So he's already in good standing, entering into the second round, and he's good standing in the race as well, as he's in the lead heading around this final turn. Coming to the line, he's gonna hold it. It is Chuckie Pauken moving on to the semifinals. Excaliber taking out Bobby Holman in that Shadow the Hedgehog truck here in the second round. What a race from Chuckie Pauken. I mean, he killed it. Lightning fast, keeping it solid. Bobby Holman slipping a little bit. Jimmy Creten coming out next on your right in Bounty Hunter, taking on Cole Pecka in Shock Therapy. Now, both of these trucks, again, had solid passes in round 1. Cole Pecka, of course, lightning fast in that Amsoil Shock Therapy truck. We just saw his teammate, Chuckie Pauken, absolutely blow through this round and the first round. So, I mean, it's looking good for these sudden impact racing trucks. Amsoil Shock Therapy on your left, about to go green, taking on Jimmy Creten and Bounty Hunter, the 3-time Monster Jam World Finals champion. Cole Pecka clipping that inner car in the first turn, and he manages to keep it solid, but needs to be careful. We just saw Jim Koehler and Megabyte roll it, but it doesn't happen to Cole Pecka. He is on to the semifinals, knocking out the World Finals champion in real life, Jimmy Creten in Bounty Hunter. Just an unfortunate race from Jimmy this time around. Cole Pecka on to the next one. Speaking of on to the next one, Jack Merkle in Vorian Prime coming out on your right, taking on Kaylyn Migues in Jailbird. Now, Jailbird, new equipment. I mean, it's the same chassis, but it's an updated version of the chassis. We also have a brand new body on that thing from what we saw from season 1. So, new equipment, new look, and she's looking to kill it out here. She's already on to round 2. She didn't do too well in racing in season 1. Doing great here so far tonight. We'll see if she can make it up one more round. Taking on Jack Merkle in Vorian Prime. We're going green and headed over that first jump. Into the first turn, both trucks taking it tight. Vorian Prime with the lead right now. Jack Merkle killing it here in the Cameron Motor Speedway. Over the line, and it is going to be Jack Merkle in Vorian Prime, moving on to the semifinals, knocking out Kaylyn Migues in Jailbird. And yeah, what a race from Vorian Prime. That's going to do it for our second round already, blowing through this second round of racing. Semifinals is up next. We got Megalodon Fire taking on Excaliber. Going to be a great race and another great race. Amsoil Shock Therapy taking on Vorian Prime. All of these trucks, I mean, this is our final 4, right? These are essentially the best of the best. This isn't the final round yet, but these are the best of the best that we've seen so far tonight, and they're going to go head-to-head here in the semifinals, and we're going to find our finalists, Giovanna Hayes in Megalodon Fire on your right, taking on Chuckie Pauken in that Excaliber truck. Very interested in who is going to come out on top here. This is a race, man. This whole semifinals is going to be insane, and we're lined up, ready to go. We're going green for your semifinals. Into the first turn, Chuckie Pauken's out wide. Giovanna Hayes nice and tight. Chuckie's all over the place. In the final turn, Giovanna Hayes has the lead, and she's not going to let it slip. Giovanna Hayes is on to the final round. She is your first Dubby finalist here in Cameron, Texas. What a race. Absolutely lightning fast, consistent. The World Finals Racing Champion has a shot at getting at defending her title here and getting a win. Can she do it? We'll find out who her final round opponent is here. We got Cole Pecka on your right, driving Amsoil Shock Therapy, taking on Jack Merkle in Vorian Prime. Now, both of these trucks, again, they've earned their spot here in the semifinals. They've been lightning fast all night, and now they are pulling up to that line for the semifinals. This is the deciding round for one of these trucks. One will move on, one will get stopped here in the semifinals. Who will it be as we launch off the starting line? Into the first turn is looking good for Amsoil Shock Therapy, who has the lead right now. Jack Merkle a little wide, a little sloppy in that first turn. Around the final turn, it is not so close. Cole Pecka is onto the final round here tonight. Amsoil Shock Therapy moving on. Jack Merkle unable to get it done tonight, but a great night of racing from him outside of this round. It was solid, man. He was looking good. I didn't know who to put my money on, but turns out it's Amsoil Shock Therapy. Your Dubby final round is Megalodon Fire taking on Amsoil Shock Therapy. Giovanna Hayes taking on Cole Pecka in that Amsoil Shock Therapy truck. Now, here he comes right now. He's been on fire tonight, lightning fast in every round, super consistent, super tight in that first turn, which seems to be necessary. The trucks who have washed out a little bit in that first turn have taken losses. So we'll see if that's going to come into play here tonight. Both of these trucks have been super consistent, super tight around that first turn. Giovanna Hayes on the track now on your right. Megalodon Fire. Can she defend her World Racing Championship and grab her first Dubby Championship of Season 2? Dubby, of course, is tonight's partner for this event. Be sure to head over to dubby.gg. You can get 10% off any purchase anytime using code RORSRPS at checkout. They have great energy powders, long-lasting, clean, jitterless energy, and they got some pretty good stuff, man. Of course, my favorite is Beach and Peach. I will never stop recommending that flavor. Fire, dude. You gotta try it. If you're in the market for a new energy supplement, energy powder, definitely check out Dubby at dubby.gg on the App Store, Instagram, and on the internet. And as we come into our final round of racing, we are already around our first and second jumps. Into the final turn, it's looking close, but not too close. Giovanna Hayes in Megalodon Fire is on to the winner's circle. She grabs her first win of Season 1 and manages to defend her World Racing Championship. Megalodon Fire, Giovanna Hayes, our first Dubby Racing Champion of Season 2 here on the Indy Madness Tour, and she is going to celebrate with a nice bicycle down the track. What a night for Giovanna. She killed it all night tonight. The entire bracket was just on go, on kill, whatever you want to say. She had it from the beginning. She was ready to go tonight, and just to prove that, you know, she's no slouch. She may not have won the World Racing Championship last season, but she's looking to do it this season. And one last look at that Megalodon Fire truck. Giovanna Hayes right back where she started. It's like she expected it from the beginning. And yeah, what a night. That is going to be 16 points for Megalodon Fire, 12 for Amsoil Shock Therapy. Vorian Prime kicking off his season with 8 points, as well as Chuckie, Pauken in Excaliber. Jailbird, Bounty Hunter, Shadow the Hedgehog, and Jim Koehler in Megabyte, all taking 4 points each going out in round 2. Looks like Megabyte did get full points for that. That is not a DNF since they let him refire. Dan Dahlgren in Iron Outlaw, Ed Eckert, Fullboar, George 20D10 in Chillin Villain, and Dawson Rayas in Shake Me, as well as Darren Migues in Wolf's Head, Colt Durham in Plain Krazy, Matthew Hood in Rage, and Corey Fisher in Blacksmith, all getting 2 points going out in round 1. Nobody getting DNFs tonight. That's good. You love to see it. Now, if you enjoyed tonight's show, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We got new shows every Saturday. We got 3 tours to choose from. We got the Biggest and Baddest Tour, Indy Madness Tour, and the All-Star Challenge Tour featuring Team Thunder versus Team Mayhem all season long. That's going to debut next Saturday, so be sure to stick around and check it out. But leave a like for me if you enjoyed. You can also check us out on Instagram at RORSRPS for all kinds of extra content, including early access to the week's racing bracket, pit party pictures, results, and more. But check out Dubby, guys. Definitely, that is the key here. You can support the ROR SRPS channel using code ROR SRPS at checkout, and you get 10% off of your purchase. They got a lot of flavors. They got 10 energy flavors and 2 hydration flavors, and they're all delicious. I said in my review here on the channel, you can check it out, that I didn't really love Dub Sludge. It's a good flavor, just doesn't really taste like apple to me. But thank you guys so much for tuning in here for racing. Be sure to stick around. We got freestyle coming up in just a minute. I'll see you there.